This is the fourth part of the video series I've named Jesus and the Mystery of the Dandelion. Okay, we're going to quickly go over what we learned in the first three parts. Okay, the key that unlocks the mystery to this teaching is found in Romans, the first chapter, the 20th verse. Okay, where it says, "For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made." Do you understand what that means? For the invisible things of God are understood by the things that he created. You understand? This will clear it up for you. Okay. The sun is a symbol of God. How so? In the Bible, it says God is a consuming fire. You see anything that he created that's a consuming fire? The sun. The sun is a big ball of consuming fire. Okay. It says in the Holy Bible, God is light and in him is no darkness at all. Do you see anything that is all light, has no dark side to it? The sun. The sun is all light, has no dark side at all. What does that mean spiritually? People have a dark side to them. Okay? God does not have a dark side to him at all. God is pure. Okay? Uh, People have a good side to him, a side that you can trust, a side that's fun loving, that's open, that's, like I said, honest, straightforward, and then a side to them that can be very deceitful, that can lie, that's manipulating people, deceiving people. So people do have a light side and a dark side. God does not have a dark side at all. He's pure. In the Bible, it says God is love. He is pure love. Your search for love and your search for God are the same search, see? Why? Because God is love. Don't be confused between lust and love. Okay? There's a reason why your heart is higher than your genitalia. Okay? God could have made the physical body any way he wanted to. He did it with spiritual significance to it. There is a reason why your heart physically is higher than your genitalia. Because love is a higher way of living than lust. It is. Okay? And that's where people get troubled because we have lust and love. Okay? We're looking for love, but we're trying to use lust to find it, and that's where people get troubled. They get broken relationships, divorces, and on and on. Okay. Anyway, it says in the Bible that Jesus is speaking. He said, "I am the light of the world." Do you see anything that God created that is the light of this world? The sun. Without the sun, this is nothing more than a dark world. It is the light of this world. Jesus is the spiritual light of this spiritually dark world. Okay, people, what does it mean? Darkness means people don't know why they're born. They're looking for the meaning of life. They're looking for why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Did I just evolve from monkeys? Did a big bang cause this? Is there a God? Which God is it? Is there not a God? They're trying to answer those questions through their life. Most of the time, it's done when you're young. A lot of them find the answer, and a lot of them find the wrong answer, and a lot of them give up on trying to find the answer. See, anyway, that's darkness. Okay, Jesus is the light in this dark world. Okay. Anyway, it says in the Bible, Jesus is speaking. He said, "I am the bright and morning star." Okay, the sun is the brightest star in our galaxy, and it comes up in the morning. It's very bright and very beautiful. Okay, it says in Exodus when Moses was speaking to God at one point, he wanted to see his face, and God told him, "No man shall see my face and live." He did allow him to see the back parts of him as he left, but he wouldn't allow him to see his face. Okay, he said, "No man shall see my face and live." What is the one thing that God created that we can't really look at? That we really can't look at? The sun. You can't really stare at the sun. That's the only thing that he made we can't look upon. Okay? The sun is in the highest heaven. God is in the highest heaven. So truly, the sun is a symbol of God. Okay. The sun is a symbol of God our Father, and it's a symbol of Jesus Christ our Savior. Okay. Anyway, in the next segment, we learned that. Oh, and by the way, what day do we celebrate Jesus Christ? Sunday. It's not by coincidence. Do you understand? It's all these things are done by someone with divine intelligence. A divine creator created things to be this way on purpose. It didn't evolve this way. It didn't. There was no big bang that made things this way. In the next segment, we learned that grass is uh, a symbol for flesh. Okay, what is flesh? Flesh is the secular people. Okay, secular means non-religious. Okay, they don't believe in any kind of God at all. Uh, Even atheist or atheism is a religion. Okay, it's something you start believing. You choose to believe in it as you get older. Okay, it truly is a religion. Anyway, um, when all babies are born, first of all, there's two different kind of people in the world. Either you're Jewish or you're a Gentile. If you're not Jewish, you are a Gentile. Okay? All Jews and all Gentile babies are born non-religious. They're not born with the knowledge of God or believing in God. There's no such thing as a baby uh, born a Christian. There's no such thing as an infant born an Islamic baby. There's no such thing as a Buddhist baby, as a Hindu baby, an atheist baby. There's no such thing. All babies, whether they're a Jewish baby or a Gentile baby, are born secular, of the flesh. They were born of the will of flesh. A male and a female had sex, the female became pregnant, and they gave birth to the baby. They were born of the will of flesh. As you get older, and if you choose to be a Christian, which is done after the age of accountability, which means you choose to be a Christian when you know what you're doing. There's no such thing as a kid becoming a Christian at all. It has to be done after the age of accountability, which is generally the mile marker for a person becoming a young adult is when a Jewish boy has a bar mitzvah at the age of 13. Generally speaking, a Jewish boy is a little bit more mature than a Gentile boy. So a Gentile boy's age of accountability isn't going to be 13. It's probably going to be more like 15, 16. It differs. Okay. So the age of accountability is unique for every individual. Okay. This is just a broad outline so we can understand the age of accountability. It's not a specific date, number per person. Only God is privy to the information about when a person reaches the age of accountability. We don't have that information. Only He does. Some people never reach the age of accountability, like mentally challenged people. A lot of them never reach the age of accountability at all throughout their whole life. They're exempt. Children are not accountable for the things they do. Do you understand? There's no such thing as a child Christian. That's ridiculous. No children go to hell because they don't believe in Jesus. That's ridiculous to think that. You can only become a Christian past the age of accountability when you know what you're doing, when you know that there's a price to pay to be a Christian. A lot of Christians are persecuted. They're mocked. They might lose the relationships they form with people. They might be psychoanalyzed constantly by people. They might be persecuted. And halfway around the world in the year 2016, you could be killed being a Christian. So being a Christian could only happen after you reach the age of accountability and you fully are aware of the choice that you're making and the price you may pay in whatever country you live in. There's no such thing as a child becoming a Christian. Anyway, like I said, Grass is a symbol of flesh, and of course, flesh is a secular people. When you're born secular. Period. Uh, only when you get older, when you start to develop intellectually as a young adult, and you start wondering, why am I born? How was I born? How did this world come to be? You know, if you went to secular public school, you were taught theories of evolution because they couldn't teach religion, which is a great way to start out in life. You shouldn't be taught religion because there's all kind of different kind of religions. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different type of people that go to public school. The only reason they teach theories of evolution is because it's non-religious. But keep in mind, it's just a theory. Doesn't mean it's true. It's never been proven. I'll give you an example. When I was young, I was taught this, and I always would come to the conclusion it never made any sense. You know, we know how as you get older, you realize how children are made. You're not born with that knowledge. When you get older and you think, oh, okay, a male and a female have sex, the female becomes pregnant. 9 months later, she gives birth. This is how things happen. Everything grows with seeds. We know that an apple tree started out with a seed, it grew as a tree, and then it developed more apples. You know how all fruit trees grow, how vegetables grow, how corn grows. I came to the conclusion that everything started with seeds. The grass started out with seeds, you know, everything. Me, I started out as a sperm, one sperm connected to one egg, you know, one out of 500,000. It's astronomical how I came to be, you know, the one out of 500,000, even probably even more than that. It's a miracle that I'm alive. That's how I view it. But everything came from a seed. But then you think, well, who made the first seeds? Where'd the first seeds come from? If everything came from seeds, where did the first seeds come from? You know, who or what or how or who created the first seeds? And that's what made me think evolution was garbage. It's just a theory. It has to be taught in secular schools. It's something to teach, and it is just basically a silly theory. It just we came from monkeys, really. Don't forget, you have to have faith to believe God exists. There is never going to be any scientific facts that God exists. Why? Because man will always need faith. Do you understand? So if you're waiting for scientific evidence that God exists, you're going to waste your whole life because there's never going to be scientific proof. Why? Because the Bible makes it clear that we're always going to need a little faith to believe God exists. Do you follow the logic here? I'll say it one more time. If you're always going to need a little faith, God made sure that there's never going to be any scientific proof, because if scientific proof is found that God exists, faith is no longer needed. And from what I've read in the Bible, faith is always going to be needed for every generation. See? So forget about scientific proof. It's never going to happen. But all logic and all indications to me in a rational mind indicate that there has to be a God. Nothing else makes sense at all. Even the Big Bang Theory, which comes closer to what may have taken place than evolution. But still, something outside the Big Bang had to cause the Big Bang. Okay. So the Big Bang kind of makes sense, and something big explosion did happen, but somebody caused that Big Bang. Do you understand? But I already know what the answer is, and I can help you if you'd like to know the answer. Okay? I can tell you there's going to be a Big Bang from what I've read in the Bible at the end of the world. And I do believe that Big Bang is going to be a nuclear holocaust. Because ultimately, I believe that people are self-destructive. Ultimately, we will destroy ourselves. If you look in America right now, America as an example, we're destroying ourselves. We are arguing and fighting amongst each other now. Just like what happened during the Civil War. We're fighting, instead of fighting outside forces now, we're turning our rage and hatred on each other, like the races and the sexes. It's just getting worse. And people are just they're just not arguing and fighting. They're getting weapons and killing people, murdering people. And it seems to me it's just going to get worse. We're imploding on ourselves. We're falling apart financially and morally. Anyway, getting back to how did the world come to be? The world is a synthetic world. Synthetic means it was merely created. It's not real. It's an artificial world. I'll use the moon as an example because it's easier. According to, if the Bible's true, the moon was made on the fourth day. Okay, if the Bible's true. Now you have to decide either the Bible's true or it's not. Okay, and if it's not true, then don't read it. Don't base your whole life on it, because if one part is a lie, then it could be filled with lies. Well, you got to spend the rest of your life trying to figure out, well, this part might be true. That might. Do you see how how ridiculous that would be? How crazy that would be? Spend the rest of your life trying to figure out, well, this is true. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. It's either 100% true or it's not worth reading, and it's not worth basing a foundation for your life on. Don't you understand? Like I said, we'll use the moon as an example. When God made the moon on the fourth day, if the Bible's true, it's either true or it's not true. And if he made it on the fourth day, your mind cannot comprehend how he did that. It'll never comprehend how he physically did it. So forget it. You have to accept it by faith. Faith is saying, I don't know how he did it, physically did it. I just believe in my heart he did it. He's an awesome God. I'm a man. He's a God. He's not a man. He's a God. Did you understand? But here's how he did it, okay? He made the moon on the fourth day. He didn't make it nice and powdery, the surface of the moon, and then throw a bunch of stars at it and asteroids, which made all the pits in it. You know, it's got a bunch of craters in it and everything. He didn't spend millions of years just waiting for stars to hit it and then decide, okay, the moon is done. Let's start working on the Earth. He made it on the fourth day with craters already in it. He made it to look old on the fourth day. Do you understand? Do you understand what it's that people can make antique furniture, but it's brand new? That's what I'm talking about. Man can make brand new antique furniture. They can make furniture that looks old and distressed and old. You understand? But it's actually brand new. That's what I'm talking about. The earth, everything, the universe is made to look billions of years old, but it's actually brand new. That's what I'm talking about. We live in a synthetic universe. It's merely created. It's an illusion. So we could have a place to live. Some of the other things I'll tell you is, what is more real, your physical body or your mind, your soul, your heart, your spirit? What's more real? My hands, my face, my physical body, is it more real than the invisible part of me? The invisible part of you is more real than the physical part of you. Do you understand that? Heaven is more real than this place. Can you understand that? You just can't see heaven with these eyes. You can't. But I guarantee you it's more real than this place. Do you understand that? The invisible part of you is more real. Give me an example. Which part is more telling of a person? You know, there's different levels of communication. Body language, the words you say, there's different levels. Which is more telling? The words people say or their body language? The body language. The body doesn't lie. If someone's standing like this, you know that they're mad, they're upset. You can lie with your mouth easily, and you can fool people, try to fake people, but your body language, it's hard to hide. So it's more telling. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? You actually speak to people with your body language more than you're giving away the inside of you with your body language more than you are speaking, if you could kind of follow that. I'm trying to tell you your heart, your invisible heart, not the physical one that pumps blood, your physical heart that feels all the emotions of love or hatred or sorrow, sadness, is more real than this body. This body is like a costume that you wear over your soul. That's all it is. Your soul is more real than your body. You understand? This is dead without your soul. And I can prove that. How do you see? Most people would say, well, I see with my eyes. No, you don't. Dead people still have eyes. They don't see anything. They still have eyes. They don't see anything. What's missing? The soul. Okay, what do you hear with? Your answer would be my ears. I hear with my ears. No, you don't. Dead people still have ears. They don't hear anything. What's missing? The soul. You hear with your soul. You see with your soul. You even feel with your soul. You understand? You do. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. When God breathed into Adam through his nostrils, he became a soul. You are a soul. You don't possess a soul. You are a soul. This body is just a house that houses your soul. Right? It's a costume. It's a it's like clothing. It clothes, it's otherwise you'd be a naked soul. It covers your soul. You understand? It's hard to put spiritual things into words. See how difficult I'm having a hard time putting it into words, but it's true. Anyway, got a little sidetracked, but the thing of it is, we'll get back to this lesson. Grass is a symbol of the secular people. All babies are secular. Whether you're a Jew or Gentile, you're secular. As you get older, you could start past the age of accountability, and only God knows what age that is, the day it happens. I don't know when it happened for me. I certainly wouldn't guess when it happened for you. It's all different because development, whether it's intellectually or in your heart or whatever God considers the age of accountability, is unique to that person. It is. Being a Christian or whatever religion you believe in can only happen after you know what you're fully doing. It doesn't happen as a child. There's no such thing as children going to hell because they don't believe in Jesus. That's ridiculous to think that. If that's the God you believe in, you don't know God. I know God, see? I know him as my Father. He is a fun-loving God. You would laugh if you knew what he calls me. You would laugh. I'm not going to tell you, but you would laugh. He's a very fun-loving, very gentle. You would be amazed. He's more of a father than a God. I can tell you that much. Anyway, I hope you gleaned some off of this. Hopefully, in the next segment here, in part 5, we're going to finally get into expounding more and more on the similarities of the dandelion being a symbol of the Christian and Christianity. You will be amazed. I mean, one of the most uh, magnificent facts is that uh, the first Christians came out of Antioch, which is old ancient Greece. Okay, they didn't come out of Jerusalem or Israel because the first uh, people to believe in Jesus were Jewish. Even if you believe in Jesus, you're still a Jew. See, you don't lose that Jewish identity, even if you believe in Jesus. Now, if you want to call yourself a Christian, if you're Jew, that's fine too, I'm sure. But you're still Jewish. The first Christians came out of Greece. If you look at encyclopedia.com, you're going to find out that the first dandelions that grew in the world grew where? in Greece. Do you think evolution or the Big Bang made it that way? It's impossible that that happened through evolution. It's impossible that that happened through the Big Bang thing. Do you understand that? You can't even calculate the odds of those things being true. You can't even calculate. You don't have a calculator big enough. You don't have a computer big enough to calculate the odds of those two things intersecting like that. The first Christians came from Greece, and the first dandelions that grew in the earth grew in Greece too. That could only happen by somebody who created things to be that way, by divine intelligence. And we're going to get more and more into that in the next segment.